Yes, we are set. I think we are recording now. Asmat Gurubhyo Namaha, Asmat Parama Gurubhyo Namaha, Asmat Sarva Gurubhyo Namaha, Shri Krishna Parabrahmane Namaha, Shri Lakshmi Nrsimha Parabrahmane Namaha, Shri Lakshmi Hayavadana Parabrahmane Namaha, Shri Krishna Upanaṣad. So, as I had announced earlier, for about 45-15 minutes, we will have a lecture without any break, because I'm trying to build some concepts and everybody should understand it properly at the same level if possible, right? That's one thing. Second thing is, we will have enough time for question answers after like roughly 40 minutes, right? 40-45 minutes. You can please write down your questions as soon as they pop up in your mind. Just take a pencil, paper, pen, whatever, or make a note somewhere in your computer, it doesn't matter. Just note down all your questions. Listen carefully. Note down all your questions. It's very possible that the answers will come up right in this lecture or something, or it might pop up from some previous lecture. Okay, so with this, I'm going to start. Last time, we had a small issue with respect to a question raised regarding a particular word. How can you understand the word atimucya in this particular verse? This is the verse number 2 of the Kena Upaniṣad. Shrotrasya shrotram manaso mano yad vachoha vacham sa upranasya pranaha chakshushash chakshuhu atimucya dhiraha pretya asmal lokad amrita bhavanti. This is the second verse. So the thing is, basically it indicates that that God is beyond our senses. He is the ear of the ear, eye of the eye, prana of the prana, and only when you atimucya means here actually atimucya generally ways go beyond, going beyond. Ati means beyond. Mucya means after getting release. This is the actual word. Shankaracharya takes us jnatva. Ityadhyahriyate. Very clearly, Shankaracharya himself says the original verse does not have the word jnatva or knowing. The original verse only has atimucya, but he understands it as jnatva. Amrita bhavati, he will get, because the final goal as amrita or immortality is mentioned here. It has to be jnatva, because only by knowing one person can go reach Brahman. So only jnana can lead to highest goal of amritatva. And hence we have to understand atimucya as jnatva. So he reconciles it because of a different concept that, okay, only through jnana one can get moksha. Right? So here, what my grandfather Sampatangar argues is, atimucya does not allow you that much freedom. Atimucya should be only transcending. What do you transcend? Transcend the world of sensory perception, percept or conceptualization based on sensual knowledge or sense knowledge. So this is to be only one level, not complete. What do you call jnana is not indicated here at this point. So why do you bring up jnana? So this is the argument. You can cite whatever side of the argument you have, but Sampatangar's view that the word original Upanishads, that seer or the rishi who expressed this, he did not use the word jnatva. He used Atimuchya only. So that is very clear. So there is a solid textual support for Sampatanga's view, right? You can always come out and say, who is the ordinary Sampatanga sitting in some small village, a small portion of Bangalore somewhere, lasting 100 years or something? What to talk about Shankaracharya, the greatest philosopher on earth? You can have any viewpoint you want, but we are only representing what Sampatangar thinks at this point. So Sampatangar is not arguing with as an individual. He is also arguing as Viśiṣṭādvaita system of thought in a way, but he may not completely agree with some of the Viśiṣṭādvaita acharyas like Ramanuja.org, and here and there he deviates and says that, look, some yogic viewpoints are missing in the Ramanuja Bhashya, but potentially the structure of Ramanuja Bhashya he is not arguing with. He's saying that that is based on Ramanuja philosophy and based on Bhagavad Gita's Bhashya also, in addition to the Upanishad Bhashyas and Brahma Sutra Bhashya. So this is where we are coming up with. Okay. Now, having put that to rest, now we'll go further. Okay. So the meaning here is, he is the ear of the ear, mind of the mind, speech of the speech, vital to the vital energy which is prana, and IFI, those who can enjoy by their intellect, dhiraha, after transgressing, escaping. So the atimuchya means escaping, transgressing. Dhiraha, that means people who can enjoy through their intellect, the most intelligent ones, beyond ordinary intelligence. Atimuchya, all these five, that is, they go beyond the knowledge obtained by the aids of knowledge, that is, the five senses. They become beatific or amritaha. After going beyond this world of phenomena, phenomena means that which you experience through your senses and mind. And after final death, pretya. O means only. So this is the general meaning of the Upanishad. See here, some concepts come up. What is buddhi? What is mind? What are senses? So what is Ātman? So these kind of questions come up, and Katha Upanishad gives this famous analogy of a charioteer, the chariot driven by horses, and the horses being tied to reins which hold these horses together, and a driver. This concept comes up. I'll ask you a small question now, just to make sure that everybody's on board. How many of you remember this analogy of a chariot to our body? How many of you know? Have you come across this before? This is not a huge question-answer session, but just if you know, you say yes, no, something like that. Digital.
Yes, I have come across it.
Very good. Very good. Others have come across this too, everybody? So everybody knows exactly what it means?
No.
Okay. Now take this analogy. I took it right out of a paper. Our body is Śarīra. Śarīra is our body. And here, this is something which we experience every day in our lives, right? There are five horses here, the senses: taste, touch, olfactory nose, ears, and sight. These are senses. These are like horses. And the senses only move towards one way, right? They only move forward and perceive the objects of senses. And manas is the reins. The intellect is the one which holds the reins. And the consciousness, the enjoyer, experiencer of all these activities is the Ātman. So this is what is Ātman is the self or jiva here. What does Shankaracharya think about this? I'm not concerned about this right now. I'm not taking Shankara Bhashya here. I'm only taking the Viśiṣṭādvaita view of this Kena Upaniṣad. There it is very clear. So Jivatma is whom we call as I. I refers to Jivatma, not just ego. It's Jivatma. It is conscious entity which stays in the body, goes out when the body dies, goes to another body, and starts those activities all over again. So that is Jivatma. Buddhi is the driver. Manas is the reins from which you hold the horses, and actually the manas, sort of combines the inputs from different senses which give us information from outside. Now, is this clear?
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't even open it. So, Ātmanam Rathinam Vidhi. That means the thing is, Atma is this guy sitting in the chariot. Śarīram Ratameva tu. The body is the actual chariot, our body. Buddhim tu Saratam Vidhi. The charioteer is Buddhi. Manah pragraham evacha. The reins are manas. Indriyani hayanahuhu. The horses refer to the senses. Viśiṣṭādvaita Gocharan. Whatever the horses see and go towards, they are the objects of senses. Atma Indriya Manoyuktam Bhokta Ityahuhu Manishinaha. This Atma, which is combined with Indriya Manas. Atma having associates such as the senses and mind, together, Bhokta, Atma Bhokta Ityahu. Atma is the Bhokta. Bhokta is the experiencer. And Atma always experiences through our mind and senses. But the Atma is together with mind and senses. Bhokta ityahuhu manishana. This is what the intelligent ones say, that the experiencer is Atma. So this is the rough idea, okay? Now, think about what is jnana? What is knowledge? Jnana is a little bit complicated. So I want to explain to you using an analogy provided by my grandfather. So, see, I'm not saying just accept what my grandfather is saying. No. I'm not even sure whether he truly may not represent perfectly the textual Viśiṣṭādvaita view. But his concepts are very powerful, and you can definitely, he is not too far away from the Viśiṣṭādvaita view also. But he's giving some more insights which are not so easily recognizable from different texts. So he's actually combining a lot of Viśiṣṭādvaita texts to get some kind of concepts. They're useful. So think about mind as fuel. Fuel is like the wood here, right? And think about the fire is jnana. So the thing is, what it is, but jnana does not appear in the pure form. If fire itself is jnana, the fire gets colored because of the fuel you put in, right? Because if you burn a different kind of wood, you will get a different flame. So this buddhi is refers to the flame. So if you think, if you burn pure gas, the gas in the gas stove, you get a different color flame. If you burn wood, probably you'll get this kind of color flame, orangish kind of flame. So the thing is, buddhi gets colored by the mind. So this is just an analogy to show that buddhi gets colored by mind. Because when jnana is associated with buddhi, with mind, the jnana gets the color of the mind. It gets influenced by the mind. So the mind itself could be sattvic, rajasic, tamasic. Sattvic is pure, spiritual. Rajasic is passion, anger, greed, and everything. Those are rajasic. Tamasic is stupor, sleepiness, ignorance, darkness, something like that, right? So mind can be of different kinds. Mind can switch between these three gunas, sattvic, rajasic, tamasic. So we'll be in different, or fundamentally a mind can have a orientation which is purely sattvic or rajasic or tamasic. Based on that, our jnana gets colored, and even our buddhi, which is the immediately connected to our mind and senses, that also gets colored by the gunas of mind and body, obviously. So the buddhi itself is of different kinds. Both buddhi and mind can be sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic. So buddhi and mind can have different gunas. Okay. Some, particularly Western philosophers and some other Indian philosophers, I don't know who they are, jnana is purely mind. You don't need to have the separation that knowledge, jnana and mind are two separate things. We can just say it's mind and matter. So many of the philosophers in the West also, they say, they don't talk about that much about soul, they say mind and matter. So why can't we just say mind and matter? No, that is not accurate. And the Indian philosophers and the yoga philosophers have figured it out that jnana and mind are two different things. Only when you mature in yoga, you will figure out that jnana seems to be different from a mind. Jnana belongs to the jivatma. Mind belongs more to the body. Mind is physical, subtle physical, though not like concrete, like a rock or something like that. It's subtle, but it is physical. Okay. So far, okay, right? You understand this?
I have a question here.
No, I don't understand. I just want you to be clear about these concepts.
I have a question, Krishna.
Uh-huh.
When we say Jivatman has Svarūpa-jñāna, Dharma-bhūta-jñāna, and Viśiṣṭādvaita, how do we compare that with this one? These concepts.
In a minute, I will explain that. Here, we're only looking at the external world and how we process the external world. So Jivatma is slightly different from all these. Buddhi is different from Buddhi. Jivatma is different from mind. Jivatma is different from our body. Mind, body, intellect. Jivatma is different from all of them. Jivatma is pure knowledge. That is pure jnana. Svarūpa-jñāna. Svarūpa-jñāna means that is made of ball of consciousness. And this ball of consciousness exists in all of us separately. Do you understand? We'll talk about Dharma-bhūta-jñāna and Svarūpa-jñāna a little bit later, but they are very fundamental concepts.
This is jnana associated with the mind and this thing, right? Intellect. This is different from the jnana of the Jivatma then.
Yes. See, the thing is, this jnana is purely, well, yes and no. See, don't think jnana is just knowledge, right? See, the thing is, here, what jnana is referring to is Dharma-bhūta-jñāna. Dharma-bhūta-jñāna means that, think about, okay, there's a good point you brought. I should have had some more slides for this. I did not do those slides because I didn't think of it properly. Think about a flame and the luminosity. Even here again, this flame and the luminosity. This, okay, I don't, see, this analogy is different. So don't take this clearly. Just take a flame and luminosity. The flame is the Jivatma Svarūpa, or the consciousness. And then the luminosity is its Dharma-bhūta-jñāna, how its jnana goes outside and figures out the external world, right? That is different. So here this jnana refers to that Dharma-bhūta-jñāna, which is in the form of Buddhi. So Dharma-bhūta-jñāna itself becomes in the physical world, in the external world, it takes the form of Buddhi or intellect. Do you understand? No? There is a relationship. Svarūpa-jñāna is different. That is Jivatma, is purely consciousness. That's what which tells you I exist. Right? The moment you wake up, you know that, oh, I exist. I woke up, or maybe I should do something today. I should plan for today. Who is this I? That is actually purely the Svarūpa, or ball of consciousness. And the way this consciousness knows the external world is through the knowledge it has, and that knowledge it goes and seeks the external world through our senses and mind and intellect. So intellect is more like the decision maker, right? Based on all the sensory inputs of mind and the real-time inputs, what we see right now through our senses and mind. So it's real time. But what is there in our chitta or storage is something what we have, our impressions of millions and millions of previous lives, and even the decades of years of this life. We have so many samskaras or impressions of this universe, right? All these are sitting in the mind called chitta. That's known as chitta, database of information. So we make the intellect takes a decision based on the database as well as the external real-time inputs. That's how we operate. So our pure jnana, which comes out of the dharma, the ball of consciousness, that is Jivatma Svarūpa, which comes out as Dharma-bhūta-jñāna. So there are two things: Svarūpa-jñāna, that is made of pure consciousness, and that emanates the Dharma-bhūta-jñāna like luminosity. And Dharma-bhūta-jñāna is what picks up information from outside. So that Dharma-bhūta-jñāna will act as Buddhi in this universe. In fact, in next class or something, I'll see if I can tell you in the Bhagavad Gita in the 13th chapter, if you remember, these are all connected questions. So we're not going out of the subject. So the 13th chapter is very important. This is the field, the knower of the field, and the field. Kshetra, Kshetrajna Yoga, right? So here he says, what are the Dharma-bhūta-jñāna's various forms? Our Dharma-bhūta-jñāna has these forms. What is this? Ichcha, dveshaha, sukham, dukkam, sanghataha, chetana, dhriti, etat khetram samasena, savikaram udahratam. So the thing is, the Dharma-bhūta-jñāna can take different forms. Liking, hatred, happiness, sorrow, all these things are forms of Dharma-bhūta-jñāna. It's a good question, and I think some details were given. Right now, I'm talking with a very simplistic model at this point. Okay, dhīraha. What is the difference here? Dhīraha means who are intelligent. What kind of intelligence? Who delight in intelligence. Dhiya ramante. They shine with their brilliance. Not ordinary brilliant people. Extremely differently brilliant people. Right? Dhi means buddhi or intellect. Intelligence in its pure form is jnana. So intelligence, if it is colored, it becomes not so pure. Right? When pure knowledge appears through the mind, like fire on fuel, it becomes buddhi or intellect. So jnana, when you mix it with mind, then it becomes buddhi or intellect. Our fundamental knowledge jnana is inherently weak. Even our Dharma-bhūta-jñāna is inherently weak. So it exists as intellect in our, what we feel as our intelligence is our Dharma-bhūta-jñāna itself, but it is weak. What does weak mean? Weak means that it doesn't understand truth as it is, number one. Makes a lot of mistakes. And it gets bound and gets influenced by external attractions. And it goes after some things thinking that that would give happiness to us, but eventually finds out that those are mirages. There's no happiness. So Dharma-bhūta-jñāna can get deluded, which we know, right? There is sort of inherent possibility of errors that can creep into our Dharma-bhūta-jñāna. So those who have not experienced pure jnana, separate from mind, think that mind and jnana, mind and knowledge are same. And jnana or knowledge is purely mental. That is not true. So pure jnana and mind are two distinct things. So when jnana combines with mind, it becomes buddhi or intellect. Buddhi can also be colored because it could be Sāttvika mind or rājasa mind, depending on what the status of mind is, how mind is influenced. This is also based on the Bhagavad Gita, because jnana is separated, jnana itself is separated into rājasika, tāmasika, and Sāttvika. Where is it present? It is in the Bhagavad Gita, which says Sāttvika is that which sees oneness in everything, and rājasa is that which differentiates and looks at always the differences between things, and tāmasika is ajnana, and wrong knowledge, ignorance. So this we covered last time. So even buddhi also can be Sāttvik, rājasik, and tāmasik, and that is explained in the 18th chapter. Pravrittincha, nivrittincha, karye karye bhaya, karya karye bhaya bhaye. That bandham mokṣam cha yaveti buddhissa partha sattviki. What is Sāttvik buddhi? In every act of us, we know that whether this act is going to take you down into the path of experience of this universe or progress here, which is known as pravritti. Pravritti is progress here, like getting more money, getting more, whatever you want here, right? Nivritti is retiring away from universe and going towards God and spiritual goals. So pravritti and nivritti are two paths. One path goes up to spirituality, the other path goes down to material success and material life. So every moment you can figure out whatever I'm doing, is it going up or down? That is actually Sāttvik buddhi. And the person will know, will these activities will end up in release or bondage. These are all Sāttvik. And again, rājasik is different. Rājasik mind, intellect, buddhi, gets confused between what is right and wrong. And tāmasik thinks that whatever is wrong is always right for the tāmasik buddhi. So this is separated out by Lord Krishna himself in the Bhagavad Gita. But here comes, what is divine experience? See, if you want to experience Jivatma, Paramātman, how does the buddhi work there? Dhira is a person whose knowledge becomes pure. And who is the purest person according to 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita? It says, look, people who know that this whole universe is a divine play of the Lord, that guy is a pure person, very pure person. And only that person gets bhakti or total attachment to Lord. Otherwise, the person becomes selfish and say, oh, the universe is for my experience. But the universe actually is not yours or mine. It is actually Ishvara's. That is the first premise, first sentence of the Īśāvāsya Upanishad. Īśāvāsyamidam sarvam yatyante jagatyam jagate. Knowing that very well, then only a person gets attached to Ishvara, the divine Lord of the universe. Because he is accessible, he is kind, he is always our friend, philosopher, and guide. He will lead you to the perfection, lead you to perfection. So this, only a person who realizes this will have the purest intelligence. And that person can experience divine bliss. Sāttvika Buddhi helps us to recognize ourselves as Ātman, a non-material substance. Okay, this is an interesting thing here. See, ordinary Buddhi, like if people get sucked up into greed, anger, passion of different kinds, they will never recognize ourselves as consciousness. They will never recognize themselves as pure Jivatma, which is stuck in matter, non-material substance. They will not realize. But the people with Sāttvika intellect realize that, oh, they are conscious. They are always aware that, oh, they are stuck in the body. What is good for me? That may be different from just getting wealth and other things. It enables to experience happiness that no material substance can provide. So the Sattvic Buddhi, a Sattvic mind, can make you very happy. And material happiness can never match that happiness. I really mean it. Even if you own the entire world, even Elon Musk only owns small part of the earth. But if you own the entire world, entire earth, even that is limited happiness, because you still have life, you still could have diseases, it still can experience pain, pleasure. So what good is just material wealth of the entire world? Not much. So what is the pure happiness? That is very high, utmost happiness. What that could be, it is referred to in the Bhagavad Gita as Atyantika Atyanta Sukha. In the verses of 6th chapter, 624, I think I made 624 and 628. Did I make a? I didn't. Probably I didn't make a note. I can easily look at 624. says, Sankalpa Prabhavan Kaman Tyaktva Sarvana Sheshataha Manasaiva Indriyagramam Viniyamya Samantataha. Sankalpa Prabhavan Kaman Tyaktva Sarvana Sheshataha. Giving up all desires and all the Sankalpa means thinking about, oh, let me do this, willing, oh, I want to achieve this, I want to do this, I want to get this, oh, I want to beat that person up, I want to compete. All these are Sankalpas. Giving up everything, Manasaiva Indriyagramam Viniyamya Samantataha, with the control of mind and senses. Slowly, a person can go see Ātman, go focus on Ātman of self. And what does that 628 says, Yunjanyamam Sadatmanam Yogi Vigata Kalmashaha, meditating on Ātman continuously without getting distracted by any sense objects or anything to do with this external world. Sukhena Brahma Samsparsham Atyantam Sukhamashnate. That person gets the touch of Brahman and achieves ultimate happiness. Atyantam, don't take this ultimate has no levels, right? In the sense that think that happiness which cannot be attained by owning the entire earth. That's explained here. So when the Sāttvika Buddhi becomes purer and purer, even then it cannot reveal who that I is. So a yogi who becomes Sattvic only gets to a state of Sattva state where he will not go back to the universal experience dominated by passion, ignorance and other things like that. He will be in a spiritual zone. So they get away from this material existence and get to a spiritual zone. So only, see, what my grandfather is trying to give you a picture, chiseling out the path towards perfection. And what are the steps in that path? That is what Sampathaiyar is trying to explain to us, right? Only those who successfully withdraw to their true nature, Svarūpa, by removing all objects of Buddhi. So anything our mind, brain or mind, intellect talks about or thinks about, if you can withdraw everything, you go to a pure state. Many people will think that is Nirguna Brahma. What is Nirguna Brahma? That is something which exists. Brahman is not non-existing. Brahman is existing. They think that is Nirguna means I cannot put any characteristics or attribute to it, because the external world, the universe is full of characteristics. See, this is what even Shankaracharya says, Sarva samsara dharma varjitam. There are no characteristics or attributes belong to the samsara of this universe, which refer to this Brahman. And still Brahman exists. So one could withdraw and get to this level. This is still theistic. Why is Nirguna Brahman theistic? Because Brahman exists. Brahman is not a non-existing entity, because that will become Buddhism, where there is nothing, void or shunya. Even Buddhism, some people say, oh, void is not really void, kind of thing. Don't worry about it. But fundamentally, they call it as void, emptiness. So the one way of looking inside would be Brahman with no attributes. And the another reverse of it is, oh, there is nothing anyway. There is nothing called attributes. There is no object. So to even understand what is inside us, is it shunya or is it just Nirguna Brahman? Our jnana, knowledge, should transform and become clearer in thought, and it should get true knowledge. So the Buddhi should become shining. That is what is dhiraha referred in the Kena Upaniṣad. So only when that intuition becomes so powerful, then the higher state allows one to perceive God as distinct from individual self. Till then, initially they will say there's only one thing. Once I give up the external world, once all objects are removed, there's only one thing remaining, which is attributeless, that is Nirguna Brahma. What exactly is Sampathaiyar trying to tell you here? Look, many of the yogis will initially mistake. Once you go away from the world of senses and mind, they will think that, oh, that peace and that calmness is actually Nirguna Brahman. That is an error. He says that you have to go beyond that to see God as distinct, Ishvara as distinct, Krishna as distinct from the individual self. That is the I, or the perceiving self or experiencing self. So this is what he is hinting at. This is fundamentally the theory of Viśiṣṭādvaita. He's trying to put it in a different, simple format to understand. Okay, I'll just take up something, a comment has come up. Yes, in Gita, correct. Okay, I got it. So the thing is, this is also the fundamental ideology of Ramanuja Bhashya in the Bhagavad Gita. In Ramanuja Bhashya, in the first 6 chapters, it is referring to only the experience of the individual self, Jivatma. And that Jivatma doesn't realize there is something else beyond it. Only in the 6th chapter at the end, somewhere around Shloka 30, oh, there's something called Ishvara who is really powerful. Slowly the Ishvara becomes the center of the whole thing, because I am not controlling myself. Why did I end up here? If I had the freedom not to end up here, I would have not ended up here. I would not be mixed with sorrow. I would have pure happiness. What, did I bring myself to this? Well, this could be somebody else. Who is that somebody else? And going after that somebody else occurs in Bhagavad Gita only after chapter 6. So the Bhakti Yoga, Raja Yoga, Bhakti Yoga and all comes after later on, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So this development of the subject is in this format for the Viśiṣṭādvaitins. So he says that initially you may assume that everything, once you withdraw from this external world, you think that there's only one Brahman who has no characteristics or attributes, but actually that is a state of less knowledge, because that only restricts the view to the individual self. So in the 18th chapter, Krishna, I'm referring back to even jnana as, I think there is an error here. I already talked about it, so there was no need to bring it at this point, Sāttvika, rājasika, tāmasika knowledge. So dhira should go beyond our sensory experiences, the realm of sensory knowledge, or even mind knowledge. So then the person can go to immortal state. That is very clear. It's just summarizing what we understood. The second verse is intended to intimate the student of the existence of Ātman only, since all the subordinate deities come within the purview of the phenomenal universe. What are the subordinate deities? The deity responsible for our eyes, ears, prana, all these deities are the ones which help you understand and control all those things, right? So the thing is, Brahman is beyond these deities. That is the idea of this verse 2. Now verse 3, Kena says, the teacher explains that God is a principle that must be accepted based on faith. This understanding of God comes only through the statements of those who have directly experienced Him. Faith in what? Faith in the actual intelligent ones who have actually experienced, seen that God. If an ordinary person can give you, oh, believe in God. Have you seen God? I have not seen God. Then why do I believe what you said? Right? So the third verse refers to, go to those people who have seen God, talk to them. That's what it's saying. Only then you will understand God, or else you will not understand God, because our senses and mind only tells you the external world, which will end up in science only. Na tatra chakshur gacchati, na vag gacchati, no manaha, na vidmo na vijanimo yatha etad anushishyat. So, to that, our senses and mind do not reach that God, cannot know God. So reason and intuition also cannot see God. This is where he makes a big difference in his approach. My grandfather is saying, vidmo vijanimo. There are two words, na vidmo, na vijanimo. We don't know through reasoning and external senses. Na vijanimo, even through upāsanā or meditation, you cannot know that person. Ordinary meditation is only upāsanā, which is probably covered in the Yoga Sutras, which end up in only Kaivalya or Ātma Sakshatkara or self-realization. So this, so intuition, even though it can be upāsanā, even though it's only a limited intuition, and that also cannot find you God. That also cannot help you realize God. So what do we have in our life? Most people only have reason and intuition, right? Even only selected few can have intuition. Most people live in the world of reasoning and buddhi, which is based on external world. Even for the best of the people, okay, Warren Buffett or something like that. Oh, look at all the markets and everything. He invests in something and he gets money. He bets on certain things and he gets money. Stock market, trading, or some. These are all reasoning and intelligence. So we try to win over the world using only reasoning and intelligence, but we fail in one way because we don't understand who we are. So external logic is pratyaksha anugrahita pramana, only external sensory data. Non-Vedic traditions, which do not believe in the Vedas, rely only on logic, including even more of Buddhism also, very logic-oriented. Even Jainism in a way, logic-oriented. So the thing is, they are non-Vedic traditions which don't believe in a God. Vedanta believes in Asti Brahmeti Chet Veda. The very verse in the Bhagavad Gita, in the Upanishads say, Brahman exists. Those who do not, asanneva sabhavati, Asad Brahmeti Vedachet. This is Taittiriya. Asanneva Sabhavati. The person who does not believe in God becomes non-existent. Why? I'll ask you a brief question. Please answer this. This is open to everybody. Anybody can answer, but you have to limit your answer to 2 or 3 minutes. Why does a person who does not believe in God ends up being not existent? Anyone? Anybody can answer. This open.
Because Brahman is existence.
Well, the logic is not complete here. Think again. Think and say, why does the person who does not believe in God becomes non-existent?
What does non-existent mean exactly?
There is no, he doesn't feel that he exists. He loses his existence. Okay, let me answer this. Okay, what I'm trying to say is, a person tries to find consciousness in the external world, in scientific, in whatever it brings you sense, mind, data, right? There is no consciousness outside. So even if he tries to find consciousness in matter or in anything material, the person cannot find. So the thing is, there is a consciousness different from this external world. Only when he believes in it, even if he doesn't see. Ordinary people cannot see Brahman. Somebody may say, no, I went and saw Brahman. I went to Tirupati, I saw Venkateshwara, he is Brahman. That's only external perception of objects. Did you see really the divine Brahman? No. Most people cannot. Only the alvars or thoroughly divine saints can see. Bhakti yogis can see. Yogis can see. So, ordinary person cannot see beyond the mind and intellect. Whatever you get through mind and intellect. So he does not see consciousness. He doesn't believe in it. When he doesn't believe in it, who am I? Who is the person who is not believing? That itself becomes questionable. Because he cannot understand anything concrete other than physical matter or anything matter related. That is why he becomes non-existent. Because he doesn't believe in a consciousness different from matter. That's why. So if you deny God, you become non-existent. That's all. Asanneva sabhavati, asad brahmeti vedachet. Let me go back. Didn't want to make a big deal about it. We can discuss it later if we need, but I don't think there's much use to it. Here, Sampath Iyengar comes up and says, pure logic will not help you. But Vedanta represents the essential meaning of the Vedas. Vedanta is a summary of the Vedas, right? That is where Vedanta is more of the Upanishads. It's just not the Upanishads. Everywhere, even in the Rig Veda and all, there is essence of Upanishads and knowledge inside Vedas also. Vedas everywhere. Even Karma Kanda is important. This is where he is making a big question here. Like, you cannot delete Karma Kanda. Action and knowledge are two sides of the same coin. Knowledge, when expressed through our body, becomes action. So you cannot separate these two. And that is why Karma Kanda, the Vedic rituals, should not be devalued. They're also important. And you cannot say that belongs to a separate category, that is written for a separate category of aspirants, and the Jnana Kanda is for a separate category of aspirants, the monks or the jnanis. This is a not a correct understanding according to Sampathanga and Viśiṣṭādvaita. This is a Advaitic way of understanding. There is a difference in these two views. But now we are only focusing on the Viśiṣṭādvaita view, which Sampathanga is representing. So what is the rituals and ritual related information is known as Mīmāṃsā. Mīmāṃsā is the science of Vedic statements, how to logically understand Vedic statements. It says, see, this goes beyond science. It says that Vrishtikamo yajeta. If you want rain, you can do a yajna and rain will come. That's not science. But nobody has disproved it that it doesn't work. They say if the right kind of people do the right kind of yajna, they will get rain. Similarly, Swarga Kamo Ejeta. You do this yajna, you will go to Swarga or heaven. That is cannot be disproved or proven. That is what is going into the consciousness level. So some logic is there with respect to the consciousness, Jivatma, Devatas, forces, and all those things. And that is in this the knowledge of Mīmāṃsā, or the topic of Mīmāṃsā. Mīmāṃsā is the study of those rituals and the logic in the Vedic statements. Mīmāṃsā is crucial to understand divine knowledge. That is why rituals are important. They definitely refer to something beyond ordinary experience. So Vedanta is primarily the science for understanding supernatural entities. Ātman is self, or I, is also supernatural. It is not just natural. And logic can only identify Ātman as the uncaused cause of the universe. Here, this Ātman here is God itself, right? Thing is, logically you can only say, okay, everything, I created this airplane, I am the creator. So this universe is created by a super person, and that person is God. So logic can only identify God, but it cannot reveal the details of God. That is well understood. So logic is unable to give more details. So what is Ātman and what is God? So the teacher explains that in the Kena Upaniṣad, logic, reason cannot reveal God as Paramātman or Supreme Self. Logic cannot tell you. Upāsanā or meditation or worship cannot fully reveal Ātman as the source of Ātman. That means God as the source of every consciousness. That also is not understandable through Upāsanā. Upāsanā only shows that Ātman as being without particulars. So Ātman does not have any gunas like this. The prakritika gunas like sattva, rajas, tama gunas do not belong to Ātman. The external world or anything related to external world does not belong to Ātman. You can only separate out, and that is the essence of the first 6 chapters of the Gita. So first 6 chapters only talk about, they don't talk about the difference between Ishvara or God and Jiva. They only talk about their spiritual, the kingdom of spirituality, right? The topic of Ātman. And how is that different from the external world? So then right now, we don't know, is God higher or lower than Ātman? Is Ātman impersonal while God is personal? So here he brings in a new element. God is personal, whereas Ātman is impersonal. If you focus on the self, it becomes impersonal after some point. What happens, the external body and mind and intellect, everything becomes separate self. You only focus on consciousness, it becomes impersonal in a way. But God is personal in the sense that he can individually come and connect with you. He can individually have a divine play with you. He can play hide and seek. He can be kind. So all these things are possible with God. So God and individual self are separate. And that is what Sampathanga is indicating here. And that will be explained in the Kena Upaniṣad. And we'll see how it is. These concepts of details of Paramātma cannot be understood just by reason and meditation alone, Upāsanā. It's not possible. Knowledge about Ātman and God must come from those who have experienced both. People who have experienced individual self and people who have gone beyond and experienced the all-powerful, mighty Lord God Ishvara. Only those people can help you, guide you. This doctrine should be accepted based on teachings of qualified teachers. Initially, you won't know because you are not seeing it, you're not realizing it. So you just accept as it is. Just like you accept a textbook, you don't know, you haven't done all the experiments to prove it, but you just accept and learn and understand what it is. The next 6 verses in the Kena Upaniṣad will talk about the statements of the teachers who try to describe God to the aspirant. One caution is, do not rely just on tuition. Intuition is Upāsanā or reason, external just reasoning, and Upāsanā will not give you God. So that you need to keep in mind. This is the end of the talk today, and it's how much? What's the time now? Roughly an hour, right? I will open up now with question and answer for some time. You can ask any question you have so far. This is open to everybody, open-ended. If I cannot answer the questions today, I will find answers for you. Okay. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk without much, distractions. I think, let me ask you, don't you think that this helps you think a little bit better and get a focus on what I'm talking about? Otherwise, there will be a lot of distractions and some people may lose the idea, right? Do you agree with it? Any questions? No questions so far?
No, that explanation you gave for understanding Brahman as existence. If we don't understand, we become non-existent. Can you just clarify it again?
Yeah. See, the thing is, what happens is, when look at scientific analysis, for example, it believes in just external world and things like that, right? And then more and more you do it, you cannot see. First of all, you don't agree with. There is no need to understand or accept God. God is some like superpower, consciousness, different from matter, that does not have any material nature kind of thing, right? So what happens is, a scientist who purely looks at data and tries to derive information from data. See, when you derive information from perception, percept is external world data, which we are constantly getting every moment. Concept is based on the data, you figure out, oh, this is true, this is not true. Okay, so simple thing. Should I become an engineer or a doctor or a painter? Well, painter, not many people make money out of painting, but there are only rare Van Goghs and some Picasso or somebody. I don't know whether I can become a Picasso. So I will bet on something else. So what happens is, intelligence is based on sense data, and all it can give you some direction in life to make your life comfortable. But during this process, it will never let you understand that there is a consciousness. Because first of all, you don't believe in a consciousness, because the person has lost belief in God. If you go find in any of our external experiences, you will never find God. When there is no God, there is no consciousness, because you don't agree with anything which is conscious other than matter. For example, look at Daniel Dennett, a professor, I think he passed away. He believed that there is no consciousness. He says the external world is just a magic. And even consciousness is just an imagination of human beings. There is nothing called consciousness. It's only matter. He says all our experiences can be explained saying that this is just matter. Mind is matter. Body is matter. and there is no individual sitting here. So he denies the God. When he denies God, he is also denying himself too, because he does not accept there is any consciousness. So you can turn to become a Daniel Dennett, or you can say that there's something unknown. And ordinary scientific methods of perception through senses and mind will not let you go and understand that Brahman. And you will have to go through yoga or some other methodology to find out that Brahman. So what I'm trying to say is, a person who does not believe in God will deny any consciousness which is superior to matter. And when he denies any consciousness, he will deny himself also, that he doesn't exist. I'm just matter. I am body, which is, this body is made of carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, phosphorus, some minerals. And I don't exist. So if you deny God, you will definitely end up denying yourself also. That's all. I think it is reasonable, don't you think?
Yeah, that is it is a good explanation. But I have also heard some talks where some people take consciousness for granted, and they tell that only faith is required only when it is related to God. Otherwise, consciousness anyway we know it. There's no need of faith in that. Is this correct? Actually, even I think that.
Yeah, I think our world is, our Hindu thought patterns and thought development is amazing. Think about the Sankhya philosophy. There is no single God. The Nirishvara Sankhya. There is no God, but there are consciousness, right? So Sankhya philosophy agrees with just number of beings. It could be human, non-human, doesn't matter. Animals, doesn't matter. The number of individual beings, but there is no real super Lord which controls everything. That's a possibility. So for that, faith is necessary. Once you know that there is consciousness separate from matter, and there are multiple consciousnesses, how do you find a single consciousness which is the cause of everything? That you need faith for that. Faith is only something which till you find out. If you go through yoga and go through the actual stages of yoga, first is Jivatma Sakshatkara, Paramātma Sakshatkara. Right? These are two stages. Only a person who gets Parabhakti, Parajnana, Paramabhakti, as explained by Ramanuja.org, then only they can see Paramatma actually. Otherwise, they will only see individual self. So they will stop somewhere. So seeing our individual self as separate and consciousness is one level. And to beyond that, you need faith until you finish your Bhakti Yoga. When you do Bhakti Yoga, like Nammayavar, you can directly know God exists and they interact with God. Then there is no problem, right? Faith is something, it's just like, even an experiment. If I don't believe two gases like hydrogen and oxygen, two are gases. If you mix up, I'll get water. I don't believe it. Suppose you say, but you need to have faith till you complete the experiment. Then you have the right kind of an experiment, a laboratory where you can combine two gases and make water out of it. Right? So similarly, faith is something which you have to keep in mind, saying that I don't know, but I believe in it. But eventually I will find out through experimentation. And experimentation in the spiritual zone, spiritual arena is yoga, which can mature from initially the knowledge of the self, avalokana, atma avalokana, seeing the self different from matter, atma anubhuti, enjoying the self as different from matter, then seeing the divine self like us, that is Paramatma. Paramatma you see, then understand Paramatma as the real force behind everything, then get the bhakti or the attachment to that Paramatma, and then develop Parabhakti, Parajnana, Paramabhakti, and finally experience and enjoy the Lord when you actually experience. Not like in a temple. In a temple, only an Alvar can experience the Parabrahman. Only if somebody is like an Alvar, some can experience the Parabrahman in a temple. But ordinary people, they can't. And there may be shades in between the ordinary and the highest. There may be some internal levels. That's a different thing. Hope I am answering your question in some way.
Yes, so we can just we can prove to ourselves. That is the thing. So we can't prove it to anybody else. So we have to experience it ourselves.
You have to experience it ourselves. Surely, you will be able to prove to others if you are very, very spiritually ahead. That is what is diksha, right? A spiritually extremely powerful person can make other person realize God too. And there, you have a number of dikshas happening all the way from Dakshinamurti, who gave the diksha to the sages, to the later acharyas, who made, even Ramakrishna Paramāmsa gave that diksha to Vivekananda, where Vivekananda thought that he was going to leave the temple and everything like that. There is no, he believed in Advaita in different way. But Ramakrishna Paramāmsa, who was a bhakta, devotee of Kali, said that, go back to your home. Okay, but take permission from mother. Then he said, oh, my mother is in that place. No, go to the temple, take permission from Kali, and then you can leave my ashram. You don't have to come and see me again. Then when Vivekananda went and had the darshan of Kali, he happened to touch the hand of Kali, the deity, but suddenly he felt the touch of mother, some divine mother. So then Vivekananda realized there is something else going on. So the diksha can be given by a very powerful yogi. That is why they say, go and see a yogi. Find a yogi if you can find. You will get direct connect with God.
Okay.
All right. Okay, then if there is no other question, any other questions, comments? So far, okay?
So basically, hello.
Yeah.
So faith is just like a boat where we think that we will go to the right destination. So how do we
I
have the
cannot
right
hear
faith?
you. Chaitanya ji, I cannot hear you. You're talking somewhere where I cannot hear properly.
Is this audible?
No, not so. I'll have to increase my volume and see if it works. Let me see if my volume increases. Okay, try.
How about now?
Somewhat, you're going in and out. I don't think you have a good sound system. Your computer is not very good. Okay. Tell me. Try
Okay,
to tell.
this might be fine. This might be fine now.
Go ahead.
So basically, faith is like a boat where we think that we will reach the right destination, right? We are on the sea and we will reach the right destination, which is very far away. So my question is, how do we choose the right boat?
It's not easy. You have to have a guru. You have to think. So that is why Krishna says, Tasmat Shastram Pramanam Te Karya Karya Vyavasthitau. If you blindly believe in a guru, somebody says, okay, I will give you some diksha, he will give you some diksha, and then you will be happy and for some time, and then you don't know whether you found God or not. And the life goes on. Right? Krishna says, Tasmat Shastram Pramanam Te Karya Karya Vyavasthitau. He could have said, just go to a Guruji and fall down at his feet and you will get God. You have to evaluate a Guruji. You have to find out what is there in the Shastra. You have to question the Guruji. What Krishna says this, you say this. Why is it different? What you have so pariprashnena sevaya. You have to do continuous questioning after thinking. You don't just question like boom, boom, boom. You have to question. That is why it says Sravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. You listen to Shastras. Manana, contemplate, question, understand. Nididhyasana, meditate. Finally, you will find out. God is not easy. The true, so initially belief is necessary. Because belief is only give you a direction. Somebody says that this is the way to New York. Somebody says this is the way to New York. You have to figure out what is the right way. You have to go through experiences, through understanding what is the best method to reach the spot. So definitely there is a problem. And I am not here to give you thing that to choose this path, and kind of a thing. This class is only for understanding. I'm not a, I don't run a philosophy, spiritual school where you follow me and you'll find God. I'm just telling you what each Acharya is saying in different ways. Decision is yours. Figure it out.
Okay, thank you. Got the answer.
Okay. Very nice. We'll stop here. Asmat Gurubhyo Namaha, Asmat Parama Gurubhyo Namaha, Asmat Sarva Gurubhyo Namaha, Shri Krishna Parabrahmane Namaha, Shri Lakshmi Nrsimha Parabrahmane Namaha, Shri Lakshmi Hayavadana Parabrahmane Namaha, Sarvam Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. If you have any questions, comments, please write it on Telegram channel. It'll be easier. Instead of writing personally to me, write it on the Telegram channel so the other people also will know what you're thinking. It will also increase the interactions. See, 1/4 you learn from listening, 1/4 from interactions. Sabrahmachari bihi, right? That's what some of the Sanskrit Vedanta philosophy says. All right, Dan.